It says I'm live. You be the judge. I'm Tim Carter. This is Ask the Builder. Good afternoon, March 10th, 2022. And spring is here. Although, if you look at my window, you'd still see some snow. But I'm really encouraged just to show you how it works up here in New Hampshire. A month ago, 2 months ago, middle of January, if it snowed, like if there was a dusting of snow, it's not going away. It's just going to turn to ice. Last night, late yesterday afternoon, last night, it snowed an inch, and I went ahead and I knew I didn't have to do it, but I thought, what the heck? So I scraped the snow off the driveway. It takes about a half an hour. It's good exercise. You don't have to lift anything. You just kind of push it. And but I didn't do anything with the front walk on purpose. And by noon, it was all gone. So, but it also gets a lot of direct sunlight. Good night. Hello, Lorene. How you guys doing? Great that you're here. Here you go, Lorene. Boom. Now you get the magic blue wrench. All right, well, let's talk a little bit. Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to talk in just a few minutes about house support beams and all different types. You might think there's only one type. Hello, Rocco. There are several different types, and it's actually a very complex topic, but it's not as complex as you might think it is. It really comes down to a lot of common sense. Then we're going to talk about Discord, and Goodnight is going to put in links how to sign up or how to join the Discord on my private server that he was kind enough to set up. Thank you very much. And I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable with that each day. And I noticed in the past 24 hours, he set up some interesting new channels, and I set up one today myself. So I was kind of happy about that. So anyway, we're going to have a lot of fun on Discord, and you can actually participate in Discord with others here in YouTube at the same time as you're watching the stream here. And pretty soon, we're going to be multiplexing. We're going to actually have the stream on Discord, from what I understand. But I'm not going to worry about that today. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we're also going to talk about anything that you want to talk about. Whatever your questions might be, type them in the chat. I don't care what they're about. Doesn't matter. I had a really interesting consult call, for example. Hi, Will. I had a very interesting consult call about an hour ago. No, it was at 2:00 actually, with a gentleman up in Chicago who's changing out all of his galvanized water lines in his home to switching to copper. And he had a couple of really interesting questions. So if you have questions like that, that's what I'm here for. I do the live stream to try to help you save time and money. Simple as that. All right. Thanks very much. There's that Discord link. So if you know anything about Discord, then you know what to do. Go there. If you don't know anything about Discord, go there anyway. Just sign up. It's all free. And it's this extremely powerful platform that allows us to share knowledge faster, quicker, and better than this particular platform. It's going to blow your mind, actually. Okay, beams. Beams have been around for a long time. Early man and early women, Lorraine. So they figured out that you could just take a flipping log and use a log to cross a stream, like span it, and like magic. The most basic of all bridges you make out of a tree. I've done it myself as a kid. Just have to be careful as the tree starts to rot and the bark falls off and gets pretty slippery. Obviously, as time went on, we refined that. But here's the really interesting thing. This is really fascinating about beams. Beams were really, really limited until the invention of steel. All right, so you may think that steel has been around for a long time. Well, it has and it hasn't. I mean, in relative terms, steel was invented by Bessemer, and that was back in the 1800s. And before that, we had iron, and they knew how to cast iron. But the trouble with cast iron is that cast iron is really brittle, and steel is more ductile. Steel can stretch a little bit, and that's a really positive quality. Once steel was invented, I mean, talk about a paradigm shift and a game changer. It was enormous, and it was just absolutely enormous. And of course, the railroad industry benefited from it quickly. A bridge building benefited from it. It was more a commercial, institutional, and big construction material before it finally really started to gravitate towards the residential area, like in your home. You can go into some older homes built around the 1900s and maybe see a steel I-beam or two. But generally, what happened, carpenters had figured out that they could take wood and they could either use a big solid 8x8 or 8x10, or they could take 2x materials and nail them together and kind of laminate them and offset the seams and make their own beams. And wood beams in a residential situation, a typical residential home, they work fantastic. I've literally installed thousands of them, and I've built thousands of them myself. But steel is very interesting. Here's why steel is so cool. It's got more tensile strength, for one, and we talked about that in a past live stream about why steel is so good to use in concrete. But for example, what you may not know about steel, and this is why I decided to do this today, is steel I-beams are like shoes. Steel I-beams are like shoes is actually a really good example, because shoes come in all different sizes. All right. Like I'm a 9.5. My son, I think, is a 13. All right. So, and people, who knows what Shaq O'Neal is? He must be at 18, 20. Who knows? Huge, huge feet. Steel I-beams, they come two different ways you can buy them. So in other words, they come by what we call the depth or the height of the beam. And that's typically measured in the United States in inches. I don't know what they do over in the UK with Steve. Probably millimeters, centimeters, whatever. So you can get like an 8-inch beam or a 10-inch beam or a 12-inch beam. And if you start paying attention as you drive from now on, and you probably have gone under 100, 500, 1,000, 10,000 bridges in your life on expressways here in America, and never really paid any attention. Well, from now on, you're going to start paying attention, especially on some of these wider expressways. Look how tall the I-beams are. On a standard 2-lane expressway bridge out in the country, they're probably 3 feet high, maybe 3 feet. I just passed under one going to Boston the other day, this past Saturday. The I-beam has to be 9 feet tall. And it's probably this thick, the web. I mean, huge I-beams that span, 200 feet. Crazy. I mean, crazy. You don't need to do that in your own home. But here's a very common complaint I get from a lot of homeowners. I get a question like this at least once a month. The builder or the engineer or architect specifies in their house the most standard beam of all, which we call it an 8x17. And what that means is it's 8 inches high and it weighs 17 pounds per foot. So you can get a beam that's 8 inches high, but it weighs more than 17 pounds. So it's a little bit stronger. The trouble is, when you go with an 8x17 beam, you typically have to put steel columns about every 8 feet. Well, people who want to remodel their basements, they don't like those columns. They're in the way, and it looks like a forest down in the basement. So they always ask me, well, can I take that column out? Well, the answer, I hate to say it, is no. No, you can't. Sorry. Because you've got the wrong beam in. When I built my home the last home I built back in Cincinnati, I put in 10x31 beams. So they were 10 inches high and they weighed 31 pounds a foot. Those beams, I had some of those beams spanning 16 feet. How cool is that? All right. So you could basically create full-size rooms if you just use a taller beam. Now, the trouble is typically the beams are put in so that the top of the beam, steel beam, is flush with the top of the foundation. So the taller beam you put in, if you're just putting in a standard foundation, which is 7 foot 10 inches high, all of a sudden the beam starts to get pretty low. If you're going to use taller I-beams, you need to make a taller foundation. All right. So adds a little bit of money, but you can have true 8-foot finished ceilings in basements with no beam showing if you go with a little bit taller basement. If you have any questions about beams, go ahead and type them in the chat. I don't care what it is. You don't even have to type a question about beams. It could be anything. It could be plumbing, roofing, drywall, ceramic tile. I don't care. What about the new, well, not new, so I would say newer, like microlam beams. In other words, you can get beams. These have been around for 30, 40 years. Beams that are made out of engineered lumber. If you know what OSB is, oriented strand board, they actually make beams that are very similar to that, where they are 10, 20, 30 layers of almost like plywood, engineered lumber. I put some of those. I put some of those in my last home as well, up on the first and second floor. You can get beams. They're very decorative. You might have seen these in schools and in auditoriums. They're very decorative. They're very beautiful. One of the churches that I attended back in Cincinnati had giant beams like this. Imagine this was a 2x4. All right, so 2x4. But imagine this was long. I mean, imagine this is 16 feet long. So now imagine taking a bunch of 2x4s that are the same length, 16 feet long, and just stacking them on top of one another, but gluing them too, gluing them and compressing them. And you can actually put a little crown into it. So you can get beams made out of 2x4s, 2x6s, 2x8s. And some of these can span 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 feet. They're huge. All right. These were supporting, it was a very modernistic Catholic church in Cincinnati, Ohio. I didn't happen to like it, but just a very interesting use of these beams. And of course, once they're installed, it's very beautiful wood. You can stain it, you can urethane it, you leave it exposed. There's all different types of beams, is basically what I want to say. Hello, Louise. Hello, Jimmy. Great that you're here. So here's what you need to understand, though. So beams, they can only support so much weight. The columns that are supporting the beam are just as important as the beam, and a lot of people don't understand that. You have to understand that the columns, so if my two fingers are columns and in between my fingers is the beam, the bottom of those columns, like the bottom of my finger here, it needs to be resting on a footing, or it needs to be on solid wood blocking that eventually goes all the way down to the ground, or a foundation. You can't just put a column on a piece of OSB in between two floor joists. It's going to punch through the OSB. I've seen it done before. So this is something you have to really get a grasp on if you are doing a remodeling job, for example, and you want to take out a bearing wall between two rooms, and you want to put a beam in, which you can do. Wherever it's supported at, wherever the ends of the beam are, you have to realize that those columns have got to have a continuous load path all the way down to the foundation. It's got to be. You cannot hope that the beam's going to support it. Here's another interesting thing about beams you might not realize. You can actually put a beam in the same plane as the floor joists. Think about that. A lot of people don't like beams the way they're put in by some builders, because the beam is put in at a certain height and then they put the floor joist on top of it. So the result is, in the room, I know, Will, I know, whiteboard. I got it. I've not gone to town, okay? I know, I could order one. I'm laughing. It's an inside joke with Will and I, a whiteboard. All right, so here, I'm just going to draw an I-beam to make it easier. And then joists. Okay, so here's the I-beam, and then the joist cross it at 90-degree angle. So the trouble is, the I-beam is hanging below the ceiling. You may box it in, so in your basement you just see this rectangle of drywall. Well, what if I told you that the beam could be up in here, and that the joist hang off the beam? You can do that. You can do that. So just understand that you can be very creative with how these beams are put in. A whiteboard. It's true. Will has been pushing me to get a whiteboard, and he's right. I've got to get one. All right. So here is, if you want to know a ton about all of this stuff, all right, this is, you have to go look at it. I'm going to beg you. I'm going to beg you to go look at this, that link, and look at all the chapters in this basic structural concepts book. This book was written for homeowners like you. And even a younger builder who doesn't have enough life experience to really understand what's going around with all kinds of engineering around your home. This not only has to do with beams, it's about columns. It's a very interesting ebook, and just be aware that it's there. I'm not asking you to buy it. Just understand that at some point, if you go, oh, I remember something that Tim said about a structural ebook. Well, just come to my cart and it's there. Write yourself a note. Okay, Jimmy says, I'm ordering a Barno Open Concepts red steel footing 2x6 with rebar and steel reds. Yes. Okay, good. So you're getting a big red steel building, it sounds like, right? 60 by 100 by 16 foot high. That's huge. That's a big building. All right, lemon water. I may have had my last hot chocolate for the year. Who knows? Lemon water today. So that's it about beams. Very interesting house support beams. The only other thing you should probably know, but if the fire gets this bad, you don't want to be in the house anyway. So steel, when it gets hot, when it gets heated up, it becomes, like taffy. It loses its strength. It bends very easily. So, I mean, that's why part of the reason why the Twin Towers back in, 9/11, when they got hit in the fire, So anyway, you don't really have to worry about fireproofing an I-beam in your basement, but it's a really good idea. What the code and the inspectors made us do when we would put a steel column under a beam, and it's really interesting how it's changed. Now you can buy these filled with concrete. They already fill them. But back in the day, the steel columns we bought, they were hollow. And it was really kind of tedious because you had to drill a hole at the top and, the top inch or so. And then you had to fill it with sand, dry sand. If you fill a column with sand, whether it's round or steel, and there's a fire, the column is not going to turn into a piece of spaghetti. It's going to continue to hold up the steel I-beam above it. So anyway, just understand that you have to have a little bit of concern with fire. But as I said, if the fire gets that bad in your home, if it's that hot, if it's been burning that long, and you're still in the house, I'm thinking you're not alive. I'm thinking that you died of smoke inhalation, 20, 30 minutes before that. So that's why I wouldn't lose any sleep about it. If you have exposed steel columns and beams in your basement, just get yourself some flipping smoke detectors. That's all you got to do. If you don't already have them, you should have them. All right. Any questions about your house? Doesn't matter what it is. I don't care what question you've got. It could be anything. It could be just like my buddy Phil. I solved his leak problem. I saved my buddy Phil in Tyler, Texas, I don't know, $300, $400, $500 to have some roofer come out. This morning, I did another consult call with Pat in Massachusetts, and she has to reconnect the drain line for a reverse osmosis system. And I drew her, maybe I shared it, I don't know. So this is the kind of stuff I do in my phone consults. Not all of them, they don't all require it, but I just felt it would be so much easier. I could draw this in about 5 minutes rather than try to explain it to her. So once I knew what luckily she sent me a beautiful photograph of the piping under her sink. And once I saw what the problem was, I said, oh, here's how to solve it. So I made this wonderful little drawing for her. All right. And anyway, that's the kind of stuff I do on my phone consults. But it was a really simple. Oh, but the point is, once she saw the drawing, once she asked me a few questions, she said, you know what? I'm going to try to do this myself. I said, that's fantastic. I said, because it's really easy to do. And because she's been really disappointed with the quality of workmanship that some of the local plumbers have done. In fact, she was really unhappy with the guy that hooked us up because he basically hooked it up wrong because he put the drain for the RO system on the wrong side of the trap. All right. Idiot. So that's the kind of fun console calls I get to do. Really, they're really interesting. Get to talk to a lot of people, and it's a whole lot of fun. I've got another one scheduled with Emily. I don't know what her problem is. Emily bought a call this morning. What happens? People buy these console calls, then I reach out to them and say, "Okay, do you have any photos of the problem? What is the problem? Blah blah blah. When do you want to get on the phone?" So it's a lot of fun. You get to talk to a lot of really great people. Like Zoe last year. Remember, I've talked about Zoe. And I talked about Zoe to Pat on the phone this morning to try to give her some confidence. So Zoe's this young woman who lives out in New Mexico. She decided to build her own home. And she was really frustrated because she couldn't get bids from contractors, whatever. So she decided to start it on her own and put in the plumbing herself. I mean, she's never done any plumbing work. But she roughed in all of the plumbing. She bought the isometric for me. I drew it all up for her. And then she had like 2 or 3 phone calls with me where I explained some things, and it was perfect. The inspector said it was the best DIY job he'd ever seen in 30 years, and better than like 20% of the plumbers he works for. So, yes, Jimmy, Uponor fire suppression systems. Yes, you can put sprinklers in your home. Most people won't do it. Kind of expensive. Ruins everything. Maybe saves the house, but ruins all of the, well, it's it's a this or that. The stuff's going to get ruined anyway in the fire. Most of the any of the furnishings and all that stuff. It really doesn't matter. But fire sprinklers, good idea if they catch the fire early. If they go off, if the fire's close to a sprinkler head, the sprinklers can do a really great job of suppressing the fire. It's really a good thing. Any other questions about any part of your home? I'm more than happy to answer. That's why I'm here. That's why I do the live streams. What did I ask? Did I want to tell you? I finally saw some photographs just before the stream. I had told you about this. I told you that this is kind of off topic, but they had found I don't know. They found Ernest Shackleton's ship, the Endurance. I'm trying to get to the link. I don't know where it is now. And they finally posted some photos. There's some photos of it today. Oh gosh, I can't find it now. What a shame. But boy, it was amazing. I mean, it looked like the ship just sank a week ago. It was, it's in this ice cold water down near Antarctica, and it was really amazing. I mean, to see. So just go online and find the video of the company that found and it's the name of the ship was Endurance, and I mean, seriously, it looks like the thing just sank last week. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's a problem. So, Lorene, so there, that goes to what I was talking about, I think, yesterday. That's why if you have like a sprinkler system, um, or you don't, you want to have one of those systems that automatically turns off the water when it senses it goes. We should not have all this water on. Now the trouble would be, I mean, this is kind of an interesting thing. What happens if there really was a fire, and then the computer controls said, "Hey, now we're turning on water off. Sorry about that." So there's got to be some communication between the fire alarm and the sprinkler and the that automatic shutoff valve. Yes, exactly. Yeah, um, CNN. What I think there's some name for CNN, Communist News Network. I don't know. All right, I don't want to go off the tracks this early. I really don't want to go off the rails. But Ernest Shackleton's story. I mean, if you've not ever read the brief synopsis of what happened and how all of the men on that expedition, they all flipping survived, and how for him to save his crew, I think he had to go overland to some point, and then he had to take a rowboat like 800 miles, 800 miles with probably the most basic navigation stuff. Who knows? I mean, down in the flipping Antarctic oceans, and he gets to a place, Elephant Island or whatever. I don't know what it is, and they get a ship together and they sail back, and they save all those guys on his crew. It's crazy. I mean, it's just like, if it happened today, you'd go, "That's crazy. That's remarkable." But to think it happened 100 and plus years ago, um, crazy. All right, they do let you have free articles. I know, but this is a rhetorical question. Why would you trust anything at that website when they've lied? They lie all the time. I've put this question to some of my friends, just so you know. And I never get any answers back. All right, because I go, because they say, "Well, I saw this story on CNN or MSNBC, whatever. I don't care what the news network is." And I go, "Well, if you found out that your husband or your wife has been lying to you for years, I mean, lying to you, you all of a sudden discover they've been lying to you. Do you just continue to let them lie? Like, do you stay married to them? I mean, do you get a divorce? I mean, you're okay? Are you okay with your husband or wife lying to you all the time about stuff?" They just blink. They don't make the connection between a relationship. I mean, you have a relationship with your news sources, but they don't want to admit that they have a relationship. Yeah, go online and read about Shackleton's, that whole deal. It was crazy. I mean, it's crazy they all survived. I like your comment, but they do let you have free articles. So, Lorraine, just so you know, we've talked about that here. That's the most basic psychological trigger of all. It's reciprocity. It's why when you go to the grocery on Saturdays or whenever, and that person is standing at the end of the aisle in an apron with a little table set up with cheese samples with toothpicks in it. If you make the mistake and pick one of those things up and eat it, it's over. You got a free sample, so now you feel obligated to buy a block of the cheese. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Oh my gosh. I know it's okay. I'm not trying to beat you up. All right, just we're friends. I just can't. I mean, on a personal level, I just have a problem when I find out someone that I've been dealing with has lied to me. And if they lied once, I tend to be, I hate to say this, I tend to be a one bite off the apple guy. It's pretty harsh. But if I find out they've been lying to me for a long time, like, it's over. Like, are you kidding me? So I just don't trust anything they say. So anyway, but I have to admit with you, it's pretty hard to lie about a Shackleton story, but you never know. Rocco, I eat all the free samples and never buy the product. You must be a psychopath then. It's a possibility you have a little bit of psychopath in you, just so you know. Read up on it. I mean, those are people, no remorse, none. Jimmy says, we have thick skin here, we can take it. Will said, yes, you did. Will, you told me about 2 weeks ago that years ago you had like an 8 or 9 handicap. I got news for you. That's a really good golfer. All right, so I know you might not have that today, but I know for a fact that that you're going to beat my butt when we play golf. Although that said, I am willing to bet you 50 cents a hole. All right, because you may end up winning, $7 from me. All right, I may beat you on a hole or two, maybe, big maybe. Tie doesn't count. I mean, but a tie pushes to the next hole. But I might beat you on a hole or two, so I might win 50 cents or $1 if I beat you on 2 holes. Years ago. I know, years ago. Anyway, if you're a new viewer and you're lurking, that's bad, right? So you should check in and say hello if you're a new viewer. But if you're new, you won't know the inside joke between Will and I. So Will's been here for quite a few months. Will is a ranger on a golf course in Maine, and not too awful far away from me. It's a stretch of a drive. It's the longest I've ever driven to go play golf, but I'm willing to do it because it looks like a fascinating course, and I can't wait to I can't wait to meet Will. That said, when the weather finally gets warm enough and the course is open and it's not swampy and whatever, I don't want to go all the way over there on a marginal day. Will and I are going to play golf, and we're going to have a fantastic time. I mean, we're going to have a great time. So, and I'm speaking for Will, but we could, if there were 2 other people that are watching the live stream that want to be a foursome and they're golfers, they can come play with us, right, Will? I mean, what the heck? Why not have a little miniature Ask the Builder golf tournament? I don't know. I will lose that. I will lose that one every time. Closer to the pin for $1, but yeah, I will lose that one. It's been so rare for me. Even on par 3s, Will, I would say maybe I hit the green. I don't know. I've never kept track. It can't be more than 50%. There's no way. I'm always like on the fringe. I'm close. I'm over. I'm under. Right or left a little bit. You're going to get a good laugh when you see me play. Oh, I think you're going to have a better time than I am. I know, only on par 3s. I got it right. Especially that devil one, hole number 5. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. Wait till people see that video. All right. Remember, if you're here and you want to, instead of talking about golf, if you want to talk about your home and you have a problem to solve at your home, you need help with something. I don't care what it is. I've got lots of skills. All right. But I'm not clairvoyant. I'm really bad at ESP. So you need to type in your question like Rob just did. It might not be a question. Rob says, I don't play golf, it plays me, right? Although I should work for a well digger, just tee up the ball on the land they are drilling, hit it, or lands they can drill and find water. Pretty much true. Pretty much true. That's pretty much true. So remember, if you have a question about your home, I don't care what it is, just type it in the flipping chat. That's why I'm here. I do the live streams to answer questions primarily about your home, concrete cracks. So like in Lorraine's situation, so Lorraine mentioned a couple of days ago that in her garage, one slab is lower or higher than the other, maybe by a half inch or so. Well, guess what? The good news is that's easy to fix. Pretty easy to fix. You can do a very thin overlay of stucco on that half inch. Just a mixture of Portland cement, and I would use coarse sand. And easy. And then to make the new stuff stick to the old, you just have to get the old concrete pretty clean, be a good idea to pressure wash it. And then you just have to put some cement paint on the old concrete just before you put the overlay down. Just don't let the cement paint dry. So do that, and that overlay will never come up. It will never, ever peel off. Pretty amazing stuff. Pretty really amazing. All right, Will. Does the end of the trench drain have to be exposed to drain the water? Yes. Because, unless you live in an area where the soil is extremely sandy, or if the end of the pipe is covered by stones that are the size of grapes or walnuts. But if you cover the end of the trench drain with regular soil, it's almost the same as if the end of the pipe were clogged. So the water fills into the trench drain, and if there's a lot of water coming into the drain, there's probably no way it can flow through the soil as fast as it's coming into the drain. And then you have no drain, and the water starts to flow overland. So it's best to have that pipe exposed, run it to where it finally daylights. All right. Rob says, love your videos. Thanks very much. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm a bit younger. How old do you think I am? And a remodeling contractor, 15 years, and I'm trying to find the next generation. It was hard. Now, Rob, I don't quite understand that point. I don't know what you mean by you're trying to find the next generation. Do you mean you're trying to find the next generation of employees, or I don't quite understand, or customers? You need to help me out here. In the meantime, I will go to Lorraine. We have a water tank, about 50 gallons in the mechanical room. Do they need to be replaced similar to hot water here? So your tank, it's a pressure tank for your well, isn't it, Lorraine? Oh, next generation of tradesmen. Okay, I'll answer that. So, Lorraine, if it's a water tank, if it's a pressure tank for your, for your well, where the well pumps up water into it, and then it pressurizes the water in the tank. Generally, those last a long time. Shouldn't have to worry about it. And then what will happen, just so you know, the new technology water pumps in the wells, you don't need that tank anymore. You'll just, if and when your well pump fails, you will just get a new pump in the well that will pressurize, the entire water system. So that no need for that massive tank. All right, Rob, next generation of tradesmen. That is a really hard question. And where you could start, and this is going to be like pushing a boulder up a mountain. I've talked about this before. If you're not attending you don't have to attend every one, but it would be really worthwhile for you to attend one or two or three of your local school board meetings. And I say this assuming that your local school system that they got rid of vocational training. If your local school system still has vocational training, that's amazing. Then you should put the school board members' feet to the fire and say, why don't we have vocational training? And here's why it needs to be brought back. And you can make your case because you're in the field. But I think you might be surprised. So get this. I had Lorene and Will, Rocco maybe, Jimmy maybe. They might remember about 2 months ago. It's really kind of funny. They must have been goofing around in class, all right? So, I mean, I used to do it too, but I didn't have the internet. So I think what happened, these kids were goofing around on the internet. They came to YouTube. Maybe they were on their phones. I don't know. And they came into the live stream here. All right. And I didn't know that they were kids at first. And they said, hey, can you say hi to our teacher? Or so. And eventually they said that. And I thought, what are they talking about? Well, they were vocational education kids. And eventually I caught on. It took me a while. And I said hi to the teacher. And I told him, I said, hey, I'm happy to do a Skype call with you, blah, blah, blah. Tell your teacher to reach out and contact me. Well, believe it or not, 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, he did. I get an email from this guy. And I told him what to do, and I never heard back from him. So it's a shame. But the point I'm trying to make is I then decided to do some research and come to find out that here in New Hampshire, of all places, New Hampshire and Vermont, I think I could be wrong on this number, but I think there's over 50 vocational schools in these two states. I live in New Hampshire. So wherever you live, I don't know where you live, and you don't have to type it out. I don't care. You need to find out if there are vocational, building trade vocational schools near you, and you need to get plugged into those vocational schools. That's what I did. I did that back at about the last 10 years of my building career, and I cherry picked the best students out of those classes to be my employees. Turned out one of them was a thief, though. All right, so that happens. Let me get caught up on your messages. So find out where the building trade vocational schools are closest to you. Reach out to the principal. Tell them you're happy to come in and give a talk. In other words, it's like dating a woman or a woman dating a man. You have to start to build a relationship, all right? Some people call it the trust ladder, right? Right, good night. And so once the vocational school begins to trust you, magic's going to happen. Simple as that. All right, so you're 30 miles west. There must be a ton of vocational schools up there. You probably just don't know about them. They've not advertised, whatever. So that's where you're going to go you're going to go find it. And then you're going to, here's another trick you can do. Once you start to build this relationship, then you can reach out to the local newspapers, not so much the Chicago Tribune, but here's a little trick that a lot of people don't know. You asked a really good question, by the way. You open up this whole like Pandora's box, but it's a good Pandora's box. You have in your area, and I'm on a show just north of you by 50 miles maybe. How far away is Kenosha, Wisconsin? I mean, it's right below Milwaukee, right? That's where the big problem was a year or two ago. That kid, Kyle Rittenhouse, right? When the town got burned down the one night, all those used car lots. All right. Anyway, I'm on a radio show up there like once a month, WLIP. And for 3 hours a day, the owner and the wife of the magazine and the radio station, they do a radio show. And it's just a general topic radio show. And they have on like 5 or 6 guests each day. All right. So what you don't understand about how that works and how the newspaper industry works, the people who work on those radio stations, the people who work in even local television stations, who work in newspapers, they need stories. They are pulling their flipping hair out, trying to figure out how are we going to fill the pages in the newspaper? How are we going to fill the airtime? All right. So once you get hooked into this vocational school, then you might, who knows, become their spokesperson, and you start to reach out to all the publications near you, and you start to get stories written about it. You start to tell the story about why people need to get into the trades. You need to tell them, oh, did you know that I'm just making this number up, okay? Oh, if you get into this vocational school and you learn how to be a plumber, you can come out making $35 an hour or whatever the number is. All right, it's going to be a big number, I can tell you. And then if you really apply yourself, within a few years, you can start your own company and you can make $150 an hour. All right, so that might get some people's attention, but you have to go out and you have to start to beat the drum, and that's how you're going to get these next people. All right, let me get caught up. Yes, okay. Jimmy, there you go. Exactly. I've gone to vocational school to talk to future. Exactly. So Jimmy can chime in here. I'm telling you right now that the future. The thing is, we just need to get more kids, both young men and young women, plugged into and understand about the vocational schools. They don't even know they exist. That's the trouble. It's like a lot of the products I have. I'm the worst salesman for the 120 plus products in my shopping cart. I barely tell people about them. Idiot. All right. So here we go. Yeah. The first thing is just to go find your first. First of all, Rob, here's the last comment. You're getting ready to eat an elephant. All right. There's an old saying. Elephants are best eaten one bite at a time, all right? You cannot eat an elephant at one sitting. So your first project, so you just have to set this up into sections. All that you need to do the next 2 weeks is just get online and do your research and find all of the building, trade, vocational schools within a radius that you feel comfortable reaching out to. And I already know that once you go 30, 40, 50 miles away from your house, it's just nothing but rural farmland. All right. So you're going to find all those things around Milwaukee, all the way probably out to Rockland, and then kind of down south, below Gary. All right. So that's your first project. Find all of the building, trade, vocational schools. Step one. Simple as that. One bite at a time. Here we go. Lorraine, the school budgets are so tough. I was on school board in the mid-90s. Yeah. Yes. Lorraine could really help you on this. She knows I would think that Lorraine could jump in at some point or on the Discord. See, Lorraine, this would be a great place on Discord to continue this conversation, to give Rob like a laundry list. Like if you want to try to get funding or you want to get the attention of the school board, these are the things you need to say. Or these are the things to avoid. Do not say this. All right. So, and Rob, one last thing, even simple things like writing letters to the editor. In other words, writing very positive letters to the editor and make your case there, because a lot of people read letters to the editor. All right. And where you just say, look, I'm in the trades and I'm telling you, we got problems, and here's the problems, and here's how the problems affect you. All right. So I'm going to give you a trick. All right. I don't normally do this. There's a secret to when you talk to people, both the way I'm talking to you right now, the way that, I don't know, like the way the lead singer for Def Leppard would talk to the 50,000 people in a stadium, to way a politician speaks in a speech, to where somebody speaks in a conference room, and even in a letter to the editor. Here's a little trick. If you don't know much about the English language, we have a lot of unique words, but we have a unique word in our language, in the English language, 3-letter word, Y-O-U. It's both singular and plural. When you use the word you in a letter to the editor, or when you use the word you like I am right now, never do this. Never say, I want to thank all of you for watching the live stream today. No. You say, I want to thank you for watching the live stream. You know why? Because I'm looking at the camera right now and I'm looking right at you, And that's all you think I'm doing is I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at Lorene the same way, and I'm looking at Jimmy the same way, and I'm looking at Goodnight the same way. I mean, the laundress, I'm looking at all 20 people the same way. But if I say I want to thank all of you for being here, all of a sudden you don't feel so special. When you use the word you in a letter to the editor, do the same thing. You're just talking to the reader of the letter to the editor. It is so much more powerful. It's a secret weapon in communication. And I was so lucky to learn this 28 years ago by an icon in the Cincinnati television industry. His name was Charlie Murdoch. He was the general manager of the NBC television affiliate in Cincinnati. And he took me under his wing to teach me how to do radio. He had started his career being a radio host. And because I did a 2-hour radio show for 12 years in Cincinnati. The word you, it is so powerful. Oh my gosh. So what's really going to be interesting is from now on, when you're listening to somebody giving a speech or a talk or even like in an award show, like if they get the Emmys or the Oscar, you'll hear them make that and you'll just start to chuckle. They'll say, I want to thank all of you. No, that's a mistake. Just say, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for giving me this award. Because what happens is there's a lot of people in that audience who were the voters who voted for that person to win the Oscar. So you just say, I want to thank you for giving me this award. Pretty powerful. All right. All right, here we go. Oak Grove. My senior year in high school, we were offered to go to a vocational center for half days. I went and took HVAC. Good for you. Never used the profession but another class did, and now retired as a millionaire. Exactly. Big money. And right now, well, I'll just say this. I'm going to tie, this is kind of interesting. This is kind of an interesting segue. All right, so I just want to see what Jimmy said. Yeah, starting welding, 75K. All right. What I'm going to tell you is a true story right now. So I have taught probably 15, 20 people how to start their own handyman business. Did you see the announcement this morning in the news as what the inflation rate is? Remember, that's wrong. There was news today that the inflation rate for the past year is even higher than what they said a month ago. Well, it's a lie. What was in that story? First of all, they don't figure inflation the same way they figured it 20, 30 years ago. They're not doing the same calculation because they don't want the people to know how bad it really is. You already know how bad inflation is when gasoline is up 30, 40, 50, 100%. Go to the grocery store. I don't know what beef. Somebody said yesterday beef 3 times what it was a year ago. All right. You may have wanted to retire and you may find it's going to be really hard to keep going. Well, guess what? You can start your own, even though you might be 60, 65, whatever. I know you don't want to do this. I'm here to tell you, you can start a little handyman business. You don't have to work 40 hours a week. You can make your own schedule. I have a friend of mine, really good friend of mine. He lives in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And he's got to be 76 years old, 77. Got to be. He's got this handyman business. He has to beat the people off with a stick. Now, luckily for him, it's in this incestuous community. He lives in the Del Webb community down Hilton Head. And all these widows, there's hundreds of widows that have found out about him. And they just beg him to come over to their house to paint a room, just do all this very small, tiny stuff. He's making $150,000 a year. I'm serious. It's big flipping money. Because once people find, because if you're trustworthy and you show up and you have here's like one of the little tricks I teach them. You have to have 2 pair of shoes. All right. You have the pair of shoes that you wear from your truck to the front door, and you have a pair of slippers that you wear in their house. You have to have drop claws. We call them runners. They're drop claws that are like 15, 16 feet long, 3 feet wide. Painters use them, right there to the wall when they're painting a wall. You don't have to have a giant drop cloth. You put runners down in the people's house. You don't even ask them that you're going to, you just do it. And here's what they look like. If you could look up and see their face, they're like this, like they're blown away that you care about their house enough that you're not just going to walk through it with your dirty, flipping, oil-covered boots from your truck. Just simple little things like this. You do that, that's why you can get $50, $60, $70, $80 an hour doing handyman work. None of this is hard. Nothing about this is hard, right, Lorraine? Nothing about this is hard. I looked into that, by the way. I need some help figuring out which, there's two choices I have here on YouTube to pick these two companies. I have to pick one or the other about, to do this merchandise. So we can talk about that off list or on Discord. Hi, Vanessa. Diesel is up 450% from 14 months ago. It's crazy. Exactly. 15% easy. I agree with you. Good night. Yeah, no, I'm just telling you, big, big, big money in just simple handyman work. They can't find the people to do the work. This guy's 76 years old. The last time I talked to him, I said, what are you doing? I said, he said, I can't stop. He just said, these people kill me. He said, I'm like the only guy down here doing it. And what my friend, just so you know, he is, if you were to go to their house, his wife and him, I built their house. I built their last house. It's like these are a couple that their house is like a museum. Everything is in its place. You could eat off the floors. So he takes that same attitude into his customer's house, and he's probably like 1 in 100,000 people that do that. And when customers recognize that, it's like they just get the checks out, the cash and the checkbook. What is it you want? I'm telling you, big money. Big money. And I don't understand the whole thing about diesel. If you happen to be in the oil refinery business, jump in here, okay? I mean, odds are pretty slim. This is probably, Will like this story. This is probably 15 years ago. I had to go to a secret conference. I was, back in 1999, I helped start a very secret internet mastermind group. And we would meet privately in different cities around the United States twice a year. And one of the meetings was in San Antonio. So at the time, I always liked to fly in a day early and play golf. So I played with one of the other buddies in the group. Well, he couldn't get a flight early enough. So I decided this day I was going to play 36 holes. Why not get my money's worth, right? I probably only paid like 30 cents a shot. So anyway, I getting there starting in the morning, and there weren't a lot of people during the week. And I went to the hole one, the starter let me go. I wasn't with anybody, by myself, a solo. And there was a guy playing golf in front of me. He was a solo too, and so I would never hit into him, but he obviously turned around and saw that I was solo. So like by hole 3, he just stopped. He putted out, and then he then got off around, to the out of the way, and he just stopped, and he waited for me to get up there. And then he said, "Hey," he said, "I noticed you're playing alone. Would you like to play with me?" He says, "I'm not that great." I said, "Sure." because to me, golf's all social. Turns out this guy was a manager at an oil refinery. And at that time, there was a problem where the fuel costs that had gone up. And he said, I don't get it. He said, diesel is the first thing out of the catalytic cracker. He said, when we start the refining process, the first thing that starts to flow out is diesel. So it's the cheapest thing of all to refine. So I don't know that that's true, but I believe the guy, so I'm sure you could go research it, how catalytic crackers work. That's what they're called at an oil refinery. But if that's true, why is diesel higher than gasoline? All right. You never know where we're going to end up with an Ask the Builder flipping live stream. Diesel fuel. Are you kidding me? I got so many stories. Oak Grove says it is $1.10 higher than gas here. $1.10. That's insane. Exactly. I've never seen the amount of spread that I remember. Right. Exactly. And if you remember, go back 20 years ago, diesel was much cheaper than gasoline. What's up with that? There we go. Thank you. Good night. So in the chat, you see good night pushing Discord. I know I'm not supposed to eat. I didn't have any lunch, so I'm really hungry. I got some pretzels here. This is 2 days ago. Good night got me set up on Discord. You can continue the conversation over there. Like, you can go to that link, sign up. It's free. Hopefully it's early enough on. You can still use your same username if you want to. And then there's all kinds of ways to chat and do stuff in Discord about what we're talking about here. Just go do it. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. And if you don't like it, get out. It doesn't matter. All right, let me get caught up. Okay, so anyway, so I'm not an expert on the whole diesel fuel thing, just so you know. I don't pretend to be an expert. Just telling what the guy told me. Diesel's almost at $6 a gallon. Wow, it's crazy. I'm telling you what, wait till you see what things are going to cost, because everything that you and I consume, even these pretzels, diesel fuel. Diesel Beetle. Marcus, Simpleton, environmental tax. But that's, you know what, Marcus, you could be right about that. But I don't think that it's positioned that way here in America, or if it is, it's completely hidden. And I don't, could be right. Jack, demand. You can eat all you want. I know, but I'm not supposed to eat and talk, right? Rob, diesel is in higher demand. True. Yes, but Rob. So I talked about this when I was a conductor. I was a train conductor for 2 years on a real big train, big scenic train here in New Hampshire. I had to follow the same FRA rules all the Amtrak conductors follow, blah, blah, blah. When we would do our runaround, I would give a talk to the passengers for 5 minutes, and I'd always quiz them. I said, the trains were the heyday for 100 years. What happened? Why? What made the trains stop being the primary mode of transportation? Most people didn't know the answer. Well, it all happened at the same time as in the 1950s, early 60s, the interstate highway system and jet airplanes. So you have, once the interstate highway system and the jet airplanes, it was game over for trains, for passenger trains. And so we've been shipping things by truck for, like 60 years. So it's not just now that, I mean, diesel been around for a long time for trucking. All right. Anyway, there's somebody, and I just heard the little tone in Discord. All right. But diesel is demand. I got it. I don't. There are a lot of trucks out there. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Vanessa. Good for you. We're going to have some fun with Discord. I'm just getting started. We're going to have a lot of fun. 25%. I agree. Wow. Pork spare ribs, $8 a pound. Wow. All right. So, Lorraine, there's a higher federal tax on diesel. Okay, that could be it. That could be the problem, right? That they snuck that tax in. Exactly. I mean, like here in New Hampshire, I think our gasoline tax is 50 cents a gallon. Anyway, doesn't matter. We just have to you have to batten down the hatches, man. Figure out what you're going to do to make ends meet. I can tell you that. And I'm just trying to tell you that handyman work, I don't care where you live, handyman work. Here's what's so attractive. Like if I failed at Ask the Builder, or if I had to go back to work like I used to, I would not remodel one bathroom. I would not build another house. I would not do a room addition. No way. I'm just going to do handyman work. Why? Because the liability is so low compared to the reward. That's what's so cool about handyman work. You want to be in a business where you have very low liability. Okay, Rob. Good, man. Let us know what happens about the whole vocational thing. It's going to take you a while, but let us know. Early Jan. No. Oak Grove. Are you serious? No, there's no way that these. Is you serious? So just 14 months ago, you were paying $1.17 for diesel, and it's $5.27 now. Holy tamale! Vanessa, budget shrinks dramatically. Yeah, wow, that is crazy. Over $4. Holy tomato! Wow, it's nuts. All right, another little story. I read a story about this. This is a few years ago. A reporter was interviewing a person who participated when the communists overtook Hungary years ago, many years ago. And one of the questions was, not all reporters are good, all right? But this one must have been good because he asked a really interesting question. He asked him, he said, what does it take to be able to go down to the town square and pick up a rock or a brick and throw it through the town hall window? You know what the answer was? The guy said, when you've got nothing else to lose, that's what you do. The reason you don't see this happening yet in America on a widespread scale is because people are not yet feeling enough pain. But with what's happening right now, with this gasoline and diesel stuff, I'm going to predict right now, you are going to start to see, I'm not going to say they're going to be riots, but you're going to start to see some really significant protests, ones that probably would dwarf January 6th of 2021. And for those who don't know, I was there. I know the truth because I was there. And what a lot of what you're seeing in the media is not true. You shouldn't be surprised by that, of course, right? So people are going to start to feel enough pain. And when they feel enough pain, it's just like anything else. It's really no different than if you're in a relationship. If you're married, whatever, and either you or your wife does something that, or, and you aggravate the other partner, after a while, boom, there's an argument, whatever, you vent, and you let the person know, like, you know what, this has got to stop, blah, 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 whatever it is. That's going to happen here this summer in America. And if it's happening in your town, you need to go. You need to go. Go to the flipping protest. Go. I guarantee you, I'll be there here in New Hampshire. Vanessa says, I am making leather campaign chairs and stools. Good. Yeah, exactly. I know, Grove, exactly. When they close the freaking pipe. I said this yesterday, right? And people need to wake up and understand that the people in power hate you. They hate you. They hate you. They hate your neighbor. They hate everybody in your town. They hate you. They're trying to do everything possible to inflict pain on you. Wake up. Right. Thanks, Will. Deep Six, all those evil people that trying to bring all their flipping evil crap onto our live feed. Are you kidding me? Bunch of losers. They don't understand. You know what they don't understand? I've got the best flipping moderators on YouTube. Hands down. Huh. I know. School board tried to pass a law. We need to take back the school boards, man. I'm telling you. I'm out of pretzels now. Good for you. Good for going to the meeting. We just had a big school board vote here the last few days, and I've been trying to find the results. Not easy. But there was a group that were trying to take over the school board. I mean, parents that think like we do. Yeah, so Lorene, you know all about the school board stuff. Exactly right. If you have a question about your home, put it in the chat, for goodness sake. All right. Put your question in the chat about your home. I don't care what it is. It could be a roofing question, hardwood floor. Try to stump me. That's it. Let's play Stump the Builder. Let's play a game. We need to play that game every day. Stump the Builder. Oh my gosh. One thing's for sure, I've got a hard break at 5:30, so I'm going to have to get off in 15 minutes. But let's have some fun the last 15 minutes. What would you like me to? What do you want to discuss in the last 15 minutes? You got to put it in the chat so we know. I'll try to bloviate about something. Then you can bloviate in the comments. Yeah. So just so you know, Vanessa, I was an elected official back in Ohio um, for 2 terms. I was up here in the Northeast. They call them selectmen. Back in Ohio, we call them a councilman. And I so I understand because we don't want our meetings to run 5 or 10 hours long. There's a reason why you have to limit the time um, that people can speak, and it's for the same reason that a lot of newspapers will limit the amount of words in a letter to the editor. There's only so much space, so you can't have a person go in there and filibuster about something. Um, and in 2 or 3 minutes, you should be able to make your point if you've prepared. You know, so and you also have to understand. I mean, here's the sad thing. Typically, you have to. Here, I'm going to tell you this about most of the meetings. Lorraine might agree. She might disagree. Um, if you're attending a meeting where the governing body is going to vote that night, they're going to vote that night, and they're letting people talk and speak before the vote. You need to understand that whatever you say in your 2 or 3 minutes, the odds of it changing the mind of someone that's sitting up on the dais is like 1 in a million. In other words, what you're attending, that meeting, is a dog and pony show because the vote has already happened behind the scenes. Hate to tell you, that's how it works in most places, maybe not all. So it doesn't matter what you say. Lorraine wants to know, do I have a recommendation from Axe? I'll tell you what I have a recommendation for. Forget the flipping axe. Do you want to kill your husband? Are you kidding? Do you not like your husband? Here's my recommendation. I'm serious. Go to a local still. The still does not sell stuff on Amazon. You know, STIHL. They make really good chainsaws. Go look at the still 12-inch. It's got a 12-inch bar. It's electric. Is everything working okay? Am I not frozen? Am I sounding okay? Am I frozen? So yes or no? Am I frozen? The message went away, so everything must be okay now. Okay, yeah. So the message just went away. All right. 5x5. Yep, there you go. That's a single sideband guy. So for me, you got to send 599, just so you know. So 599, that's the best signal report you can get for Morse code. Yeah, exactly. Hard work. It's young man's work. It's young man's work, cutting firewood and axing. I mean, it's crazy. It's young man's work. Okay, we're almost out of time. I'm going to have to go here shortly. Same thing. I cannot believe an hour and 20 minutes went by that fast. And good night. We need to. Just so you know, good night. I want to let you know something really quick. In the morning, I'm going to order the annual Nitro plan. So not a problem. Because I read up a little bit on it today. It seems like there's nothing but good can come from upgrading to Nitro for the year. $6 per fee, $5.99. Yes. Okay, good. So I'm sure that's going to help us, or going to help the server. Right? I mean, yeah, I'm sure you're going to say thumbs up. It sure as hell can't hurt us. Because we're going to really jump into the Discord thing. We're going to, yeah, good. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to take care of that. I'll do that in the morning. If you're here and you have not, my one moderator, good night, is going to put a link in for Discord. If you are here and you have not yet joined Discord, my server on Discord, I'm not saying you have to go to everywhere on Discord. You should definitely do it. We're trying to build a really cool Ask the Builder community there. The more I get into it, I might be able to do some really cool things, do some giveaways. Just understand that it's so much better than this chat functionality that you have here on the live stream. We can do voice chat there. We can do video chat like Zoom. I can stream within Discord. we can do a lot of really cool things. There's separate like rooms to have chats in. It's very cool. Telling you, go do the flipping Discord, do the Discord thing. I was skeptical for the first 3 minutes only, but once I saw it, I thought, oh, wait a minute, this is amazing. Then once I read up on it, what the reason why it was developed, it made perfect sense. So good night. We have him to thank for making this happen. Thank you very much. Good night. Chimp, you're back. Andrew. You're a credit to my generation. If Steve was here, he would say, not all silver tops are bad. I'll bet you that's what Steve would say. Yes, exactly, Vanessa. Links, pics. It's going to be so flipping cool what we're going to do there. So anyway, Andrew, that's pretty funny. Oh my gosh. All right. So anyway, get on the Discord is all I can tell you. The link's right there. Get on the flipping Discord. And once again, we all have good night, Mr. to thank for that. So I thank you personally. And I'm hoping that everyone that everyone that's watching will thank you as well, because you've taken Ask the Builder to the next level and allow us to do a lot of really cool things. And who knows? I really don't care, but who knows? Maybe I'm the first home improvement server on Discord. I don't know. Really don't care. But with your help, we could potentially make it the best one. Now that would be a lot of fun. I'm up for that. I don't like to start conflict, just so you know. I don't like to start fights. But if one starts, I'm all in. It's like if somebody comes and wants to fight me, and if Steve were here, he would tell you that, because Steve said one day here on the live stream, Steve's been with us from the beginning. He's in the UK. And he said, he's teased me, he said, I love to read some of your comments when people challenge you and you get right back in their face. I know, I like it. The ancient one. Oh my gosh, that is hilarious, Vanessa. Yeah, it is a great idea. I read the article about the founder that was just made for gamers, but the pandemic changed all that. The pandemic, all of a sudden the word got out about Discord, and different influencers or different groups found out about it. It's amazing, flipping amazing. Yes, Twitter, flipping death on a stick, man. I don't do Twitter, don't do Facebook. Bad. The Giga Chat of home improvement. We're going to have some fun there, I can tell you that. All right, I'm going to go. I'm going to get out of here. I got to run. So I don't understand that comment. Straight cancer. I don't understand that. So I'm probably disappointing Andrew. What a great comment. Very smart, keeping up with a generation. You're a credit to your generation. What a polite way of saying, it's amazing, you old goat, that you figured it out. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. I'm out of here. Thanks for being here today. See, he just showed up. Are you kidding me? I was just talking about you. Your ears must have been burning in London. I can't leave that just yet. I cannot leave. It would be so rude to Steve. I'm going to stick around for another 10 minutes. 10 minutes. All right, Steve. So I was saying, if you can scroll up yourself to the chimp with a car said, I'd love to be in the Discord. We'll join now. And he said to me, and very smart, keeping up with tech. You're a credit to your generation. LOL. So Steve, I said, if Steve were here, he would make fun of he would say Silvertop. He might say something like, well, not all Silvertops are bad. They're not all Luddites. And here you are. All right. Chatting behind my back. No, I was just saying how you definitely liven things up here, which is all good, man. It's all good. And now I don't know if you've been here. So we're starting a Discord thing. We've already got it going. Look at the links that Good Night's putting in. If you're not doing Discord, Steve, we need you over there. So just join the Discord. Andrew says, my dad has a PhD in a hard science from the 80s and can program code. Wow, good for that. But I have to fix his Wi-Fi. So it's keeping up with this stuff. No, it did make me laugh. I can't keep up with all the tech. Some of it's really tough. Better than silverbacks. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I hope you're not working too hard, Steve. They got to stop working you so hard, man. That's just not, don't burn out, man. Anyway. Yeah, COBOL. That's an old language. Wow. It's not hard. It's difficult. Yeah, it's difficult times. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. I know you got a very interesting job. So you have to do what you got to do. I get it. Anyway, okay. So Steve, I got to get out of here. I got to go. So sorry you're here late. The biggest news, Steve, is Good Night. Nice young man. He got us going on. Got me going on Discord, and we can continue the conversation over there after hours. So if you're not on Discord, I highly recommend you click that link and become part of our. I'm going to say community, but we don't have a community set up there. It's a private server for a reason. But we can do like all our Zoom calls are going to be on Discord, just so you know. We can do it on Discord. We don't need to have Zoom. So anyway, when you get a chance, maybe this weekend, if you're not doing anything, look at the Discord. I'll send you the link, by the way, an email. So just look into it. It's totally cool. It's safe, free, no money. We can do a lot of cool stuff with it. All right. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here. Got to go. The late night party has to build a site. Exactly. That's exactly right. We cool things. All right. So good night, everyone. There's the invite. Thanks very much. Good night. Thank you so much. All right. I'm out of here. I said it about 10 times. At this time, I'm serious. If you've not signed on for my newsletter, you should. It's going to be a pretty good newsletter on Sunday. And I will be tomorrow. And Will, thanks everyone. Thanks so much. Will, good night. Steve, Oak Grove, Andrew, Jack, Lorene, so many, Rocco. You scroll off the screen. It's hard to remember. It's hard to remember everybody. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks for spreading the good word. 73 to you too. Spreading the good word about this live stream. We want to make it grow. We want to wake more people up, not only about building and remodeling so that they don't get taken, but about other issues too. All right, I'm Tim Carter. You've been watching Ask the Builder, and I'll be here tomorrow. Should be a good day. End of the week. We'll have some fun tomorrow. And I'm going to play around with Discord in the morning a little bit more. All right, I'm Tim Carter. This has been Ask the Builder. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you very much.